Right, I am back. Done more videos today than I think I've done in the last 2 weeks. But anyway, so, like I said, after I've had a nice hefty dinner, shouldn't really have had 2 steaks, that was just beyond being greedy. So, I'll let that die down a little bit. I'm going to try some of Cornell and Diehl's Star of the East. Now, this is a tobacco that Daffy John sent to me in the trade we did not long ago. I have left this tobacco open for a bit because it was a little bit damp, and I prefer my Virginia Latakia and Turkish mixtures a little bit drier for easier combustion. So, out of the pack, it's got a... it's beautiful. My favourite combination, some lovely sour, slightly stinky Izmir, which you can smell. You get kind of the very... it's kind of at the edge of the aroma is the Izmir. On the whole, there's some Turkish and there's some lovely sweet Virginia there. This is... I'd like to make a snuff out of this stuff. It's my favourite tobaccos, basically. Some lovely Turkish Orientals, some Cypriot Latakia, and some stoved sweet reds, Virginia. So I'm going to be smoking this in my pimped out Dunhill Reject. And this is an amber-like stem off a Meerschaum, a silver ring, which I bought for it, and this is my Latakia furnace. The cut of this tobacco is a good mixture. There's some almost shag type cuts on the Latakia. The Virginia is a reasonably good shag cut, but then the Turkish, the Izmir, that seems to be a lot more rougher cut. I don't know if the Virginia had been pressed into a flake. There's some bits that are very flake-like in there. That's definitely the Virginia. So I am just going to finish filling up here. I'm going to give this a whirl. I have cheated before I went onto this. Like I say, normally I go into these things completely blind, which is usually why I completely cock it up and get all my information wrong. Good start. So, charring right. Oh, the sour creaminess of the Turkish, smokiness of the Latakia, and a very, very underlying sweetness, and the finish is just of wood smoked Latakia. So, you know what, I said I was going to get a tamper ready before I started this video, and I completely forgot to do that, so I'm going to use my new improvised tamper that I have to be careful with, which is an Allen key. So, charring light tasted amazing. Now let's see how she goes. It's cool and smooth. God. Like I say, my charring impressions are very, very familiar, very consistent now. I've only had a few draws. Still got a slight expanding issue down here. Smooth, creamy. Some sweetness there. I say you get all the characteristics of all three of the leaves. It's a lot sweeter than other blends I've had. I was thinking a moment ago, this is a very, very familiar taste. But the Virginia is very, very, very sweet on this blend. You're getting the sweetness from the Latakia as well. But the Virginia sweetness, I assume it's been sweetened with, I don't know actually. It's hard to tell whether it's a maple or a honey or just a molasses sugar sort of thing. But the Smoky's cool, it's smooth, the draw's a little bit tough, but like I say, I think I packed a little bit tight. I always say this, I hate the anticipation of the first smoke. You try and gauge the tobacco by looking at it and knowing what's the best optimal way to pack it. Inevitably you get it wrong from time to time. Tobaccos swell quite a bit under heat. As you notice, when you light it, it puffs up, well, it swells everywhere else. So if you pack it too tight, once that tobacco swells, you get a poor draw. But no, I'm gonna keep at this. Jeez, this one's smoky tobacco. I'm going to come back at the halfway point. Let you know how it's progressing. But so far, it's one of the sweetest smoke of this style I've had without it being a sticky sweet. I've had well, I make a tobacco that's kind of similar, but it's more of a very, very sweet Cavendish Virginia that I use sort of thing, rather than just a sweetened Virginia. But I appear to have a moisture problem. So like I say, I'll be back after I've resolved what's going off in here. Whatever's going off here. And like I say, I'll be back after halfway. I'll let you know how she's getting on. What is going on? Problem solved. A little bit of tobacco had got stuck halfway up the stem. But luckily, now drawing a hell of a lot better. So, like I say, I'll be back after I've smoked a bit more of this to let you know how she's progressing. But so far, sweet, sour and smoky. Fucking A. What? Right, so I've just discovered... oh dear, I didn't actually realise that. I've just discovered this is a very, very, very fast burning tobacco. I'm pretty much at the base of the bowl now. I was going to try and come back halfway through, but yeah, ain't a great deal there left. I was going to try and come back halfway through to let you know how it's going, but I was enjoying it so much. There is a lot more to the flavour than just it being sour. It's smoky and sweet. The sweetness is kind of got some very, very woody, slightly, not going to say nutty, but a very, very woody flavour. So like sweet cedars, things like that. There's a lovely bit of pepper and a bit of spice on the finish on the back of my tongue. It did burn hot briefly for a few draws, and then it kind of cooled back down again. Got a lovely cake of ash on the top here. I want to get rid of a bit of this, see how much tobacco there actually is underneath. Apart from that, it stayed cool, it's smooth, it's easy to smoke, it stays lit as he's about to relight it. The smokiness is kind of melding in with the woodiness of the Virginia. It's not very complex smoke. There isn't a great deal going off. It's a fairly, I wouldn't really say it's a very flat flavour, but there's not a lot to it. I say it's the taste's big. It's got a big taste, but there's not a great deal of subtlety or anything to it. It's just a lovely strong flavour. The finish is beautiful. There's the sourness from the Turkish. You get a lot on the finish, and I say some pepper, some spice. There's an earthy flavour on my tongue, but the draw's just sweet, smoky, sour. So it's quite woody. There's some slightly earthy. I guess it's more not compost. It's that damp floor smell that I get. Damp forest floor, kind of rotting vegetation. not a perique pungent, like festering smell. It's kind of lovely and laticery with some nutty, woody Virginia flavours. I can't really say a lot about it, to be honest. It's absolutely fucking gorgeous stuff, though. But it's a tobacco that I smoke a lot, like this style, so I struggle sometimes to put my finger on it. I just know that I love this smoke. I don't find many tobaccos where I struggle to review, and this is definitely one of them, and I adore this stuff. It's just something about Latakia. I just love it. I have tried it in cigarettes before. Even though it's quite low in nicotine, it produces a lot of heavy smoke. Not particularly great in cigarettes. Same as perique. Tastes brilliant, but quantity-wise, I mean, the vastness of smoke it produces is not always great. So yeah, I'm pretty much flummoxed with this review. I don't really know what else to add. I'm pretty much done with this now. All I can hear is mainly air hissing into the bowl. I'm going to tease every last draw out of this. So, Cornell and Diehl, Star of the East, is amazing. It's a great tobacco. It's confusing me slightly, because not confusing me. I can't really think of what to say about it. It's got beautiful flavours. There's some lovely sweetness, some sweet cedars. There's a lovely smoky taste at the start as you're smoking it. There's some lovely sourness in the draw, but that's transferred more onto the finish in the latter half. The flavour's not very dynamic. It hasn't changed hardly at all, even from the charring light down to now where I'm burning on ashes. But it tastes awesome. If you like your, again I'm going to use this term, English blends, this is brilliant. I mean, I say I'm flummoxed a little bit by it. I mean, a Balkan, I guess, because it's got the Orientals there, the sourness. It's a lot better than the Balkan blends we get in the UK, well, the two that I deal with mainly. I prefer it over the Dunhills that I've tried. Tree mixture, possibly, but no, say out of all my Balkan English style Latakia blends I've smoked, this is one of my favourites. It doesn't have the hit in the face that you get from Penzance and Billybud and things like that, but for a straight standard, what I would class as a normal Virginia, a normal Latakia blended tobacco, this is brilliant stuff. There's no burley in it. It carries a small amount of nicotine. I've got no burley throat, and I do need a cigarette to follow it. So yeah, if you ever get the chance to try this stuff, I really would try it. This review's not gone particularly well, so I may have to revisit this at some point. But I did very, very, very much enjoy this stuff. So, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully my next review will make a little bit more sense in this one. So, take care folks. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.